Hello and welcome. I'm Anne Nwawado. Tonight, death toll from collapsed metal bridge at Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University in Bauchi State rises to 4 as school authorities shut down academic activities to mourn victims. Court fixes August the 8th to rule on DSS application to detain publisher of Sahara Reporters, Omoyele Sowore, beyond 48 hours after Revolution Now protest. African Development Bank seeks investment in Nigeria's agricultural industry with a pledge to invest $1 billion in the country's agricultural sector in the next 5 years. And Chinese government warns anti-government protesters in Hong Kong engaging in violence and crimes to desist or be held accountable.
On Business News tonight, Debt Management Office raises over 13 billion naira maturities from FGN Savings Bond between 2017 and 19 from retail investors.
And on Sports News tonight, Nigeria strengthens bid to host 2020 Under-20 Women's World Cup as FIFA inspection team begins tour of facilities.
And from Abuja, President Buhari to swear in ministers designate on Wednesday, August the 21st, after a 2-day induction retreat.
Once again, welcome. Residents of Bauchi Metropolis woke up to a peaceful protest today by the students of the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University following the death of 4 of their colleagues from a collapsed metal bridge in the school. The metal structure was said to have collapsed at about midnight following a heavy downpour. The students are blaming the authorities of the school for alleged neglect of the bridge, which links one of the hostels. This has, however, forced the institution's authorities to shut down academic activities in the school.
Students of the Abubakar Tafawa Balewa University, Bauchi State, struggling to come to terms with the unfortunate incident that led to the death of 4 of their colleagues when this metal bridge collapsed. The metal structure serves as a link between the institution's hostel and lecture rooms. Initial reports say some students who were returning to their hostels after a heavy downpour were caught up when the bridge collapsed, leading to their death. The protesting students blame the school authority for alleged neglect of the bridge, which has been left unattended to for about 2 weeks, despite their complaint to the management.
The students are very unhappy because the management has failed to come and repair the bridge for about 2 weeks. But then after repairing it by the students' union, the heavy rain came yesterday. Some students were on the bridge after reading at the night. You know, we are on the verge of writing examinations. So students were on the bridge, they exert pressure on it, and it collapsed.
The unfortunate incident.
Meanwhile, the Vice Chancellor of the university, Professor Abdulaziz Ahmed, says the incident is unfortunate and has thrown the institution into mourning, resulting in the management to order a break in academic activities for almost 2 weeks.
While the full details of the occurrence are being awaited, the University Senate at an emergency meeting this morning, August 6, 2019, has decided to close the university in honor of the students. They are our students. So we feel there's a need for the university to honor them. And the best way we can honor them is by closing the university.
With the sad situation in this institution, a final report is expected from the school management on the incident, with the hope that there will be no reoccurrence of such tragedy, especially during this rainy season.
In another incident, this time in Ondo State, where armed robbers today shot dead a bank official during a robbery on a commercial bank in the Eju area of Akure North local government area of the state. Police authorities in the state say 2 other persons sustained gunshot wounds from the attack, and they are currently undergoing treatment in the hospital. The Ondo State Police spokesperson, Femi Joseph, told Channels Television that officers of the state anti-robbery squad engaged in the armed robbers in a gun battle, prompting them to escape through the nearby bush. According to him, normalcy has now returned to the area, but it is not certain if the robbers succeeded in carting away money from the bank. And staying with security matters, the young woman is reported to have been killed in a hotel room in the World Bank area of Sowore, the Imo State capital, by an unknown person. The Imo State Police Command confirmed this murder of the lady, whose identity is yet to be known, by a supposed male friend who is set to be at large. According to the police public relations officer in the state, Mr. Orlando Ikeoku, the management of the hotel reported to the police that the cleaner in that hotel on routine cleaning discovered the lifeless body of the lady under the bed. The police say initial investigation reveals that the woman was allegedly murdered in cold blood by the suspected male guest who checked into the hotel with her about a day ago. The police also say the suspect disappeared without leaving any trace, as he left with all the belongings of the female victim, including her clothes. The police are now saying they have already started investigation into the incident to bring the perpetrator to book. Now, the counsel to embattled leader of the Islamic movement in Nigeria, Mr. Femi Adesina, today commended Monday's court ruling, which granted leave to Sheikh Ibrahim El-Zakzaky and his wife Zinat to travel abroad for medical treatment. Mr. Adesina believes that allowing Ibrahim El-Zakzaky and his wife access to medical treatment abroad had saved the country from a major crisis. He was speaking on Channels Television's breakfast program, Sunrise Daily.
In this case, the state has been unable to treat El-Zakzaky and his wife. We then apply it to the court, grant them leave to go abroad to an identified hospital in India for them to treat themselves at their own expense. And that was the order the government, the court made. Because they have not been, the government has not complied with the earlier, no, or let me say, they have been charged with a criminal offense. So the trial is still on. That was why the court gave the condition that allowed them to travel, but supervise them. Because the government expressed the fear. Now, if they are allowed to travel unconditionally, they may not come back for their trial. Because they say, no problem, we'll take care of your fear. They will be supervised by the government. That is the essence of the order. But I was pleased to learn last night that the State Security Service announced that the order will be complied with. For me, I think that is a good development. I do hope that other court orders, including the one for Dasuki, will be complied with, so that we can join the rest of, the Committee of Civilized Nations.
And still on the nation's security, the national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, is asking the federal government to release all political prisoners, including the publisher of Sahara Reporters, Omoyele Sowore. Mr. Uche Secondus is alleging that this is the first time that the democratically elected government is holding political prisoners and refusing to release them. He describes the development as unfortunate and capable of disrupting the peace of Nigeria. He was speaking to journalists in Yola, the Adamawa state capital, after a visit to the state governor.
We want to directly ask Mr. President Buhari, to release the political prisoners. It is not done in any political dispensation. What we are saying today is as if we're in the military era. It should quickly and urgently release all political prisoners and allow a democratic atmosphere to strive in a country, and where everybody is guaranteed the freedom of speech.
In the meantime, the Abuja Division of the Federal High Court has fixed August the 8th to rule on the application by the Department of State Services DSS seeking an order to detain the convener of the #RevolutionNow protest, Omoyele Sowore, for 90 days pending the conclusion of its investigation. Mr. Sowore, who is a publisher of Sahara Reporters and presidential candidate of the African Action Congress in the February 2019 elections, was arrested on Saturday by operatives of the Department of State Services in a hotel in Lagos. He was moved to Abuja, the nation's capital, on Sunday morning and is currently being detained in the custody of the DSS. The ex parte motion filed by the secret police is seeking the order of the court to detain Mr. Sowore beyond 48 hours of his arrest required by law. But after listening to the motion, Justice Taiwo said he needed time to watch the video clips attached to this motion. He accordingly adjourned the ruling to Thursday, August the 8th. Staying with the revolution now, protests the Lagos State Criminal Intelligence and Information Department, SCIID, Pante has already arraigned 6 persons who allegedly took part in Monday's protest convened by the publisher of Sahara Reporters, Omoyele Sowore. The 6 protesters were arraigned before an Ebute-Metta magistrate court in Lagos on 2 counts of unlawful assembly and conduct likely to cause breach of peace. One of the 6 protesters is a 51-year-old lawyer, Gabriel Ojuma. After filing a bail application, the chief magistrate admitted Mr. Ojuma on bail and self-recognizance and other 5 defendants to 100,000 naira bail each, with 2 sureties and like sum. Further proceedings is being adjourned till September the 26th. Staying with the legal matters, the Court of Appeal sitting in Lagos has set aside the judgment of the Lagos State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal, which dismissed the petition of Alliance for Democracy, AD, and its candidate, Owolabi Salis. The court, led by Justice Hussein Mukhtar, also set aside the judgment in the appeal filed by the Labour Party and its governorship candidate, Ifegbemi Awamardidi. In a unanimous judgment delivered today by a 5-man panel, the appeal court held that the petitions have merit, and it subsequently remitted them back to the lower court for expeditious hearing. On June the 17th, the Lagos State Governorship Election Petition Tribunal sitting in Ikeja dismissed the petitions filed by the Alliance for Democracy, AD, the Labour Party, and the governorship candidates Owolabi Salis and Ifegbemi Awamardidi, challenging the return of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu at the March 9 election. Meanwhile, the Federal High Court in Lagos has ordered the freezing of 3 bank accounts which allegedly is linked to the Lagos State government. Justice Chuka Obiozo made this order following an ex parte application by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, over an alleged 9.9 billion naira fraud. The EFCC asked the judge to freeze the account pending the conclusion of investigation and possible prosecution of the permanent secretary in the office of the Chief of Staff to the former Governor Akinwumi Ambode's that's Mr. Adewale Adesina. The EFCC has discovered that the said account was opened on September the 17th, 2018, during the administration of former Governor Akinwumi Ambode and operated by Mr. Adesina. The EFCC says the schedule of bank accounts showed how Mr. Adesina and other signatories to the account made fraudulent transfer from accounts of the Lagos State government and anticipated the funds housed in the said account. Justice Obiozo has now granted the application and adjourned hearing till September the 9th. In part 2, after the break, African Development Bank seeks investment in Nigeria's agricultural industry with a pledge to invest $1 billion in the country's agricultural sector in the next 5 years.